video to go through the solutions here. And for these two problems, it's going to be very similar to what we did in the example problems. So to solve it, I first want to signs by into two different. First one is 1/4 x plus 2. Rush to drop slowly by the entire expression on the right hand side. So here on the left, if we look at this scenario, we get negative 5x plus 2 equals 1/4 x minus 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add 5 first. There are alternative ways to combine the variable terms and constant terms, but that's just the way I'm going to work with this problem. And if I add 5 on both sides, I would get negative 5x plus 7 is equal to 1/4 x. And to get all the variables together, I can go ahead and add 5 on both sides, add 5x on both sides. And therefore, we would get 7 is equal to, you could do 5¼ x and go from here just to make the process a little bit more smoothly. And if I have 5¼ it's not particularly helpful to find the reciprocal from here. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite 5¼ to be 21/4, because 4 times 5 is 20, 20 plus 1 gives us 21 on the numerator, and keeping the denominator gives me 21/4x. And now for the next step, I want to multiply the reciprocal of the coefficients in front of x to solve it. So that will be 4/21 on both sides. On the left side, we can see there's a little bit simplification we can do. 21 and 7 cancel out to have a 3 in the denominator. And therefore, I get 4/3 is equal to x for this scenario. Now for the next case, we can have negative 5x plus 2 as is on the left side, and on the right I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative sign, which would be negative 1/4 x plus 5. To simplify it, now I can again combine the constants first by subtracting 5 on both sides. Negative 5x subtracted by 5 will be minus 3 equals negative 1/4 x. And as a result, I can go ahead and add 5x just like we did before. And here I have negative 3. And if this wasn't readily obvious to you what the result is, you can go ahead and write out negative 1/4 x plus 5x. And to simplify it, we can see in order to rewrite 5, this is really 5/1, and I can go ahead and multiply 4 on both sides. And that gives me negative 1/4 x plus 20/4x. Or we can say negative 3 is equal to 19/4x. Now to get the result, again we can multiply the reciprocal, which will be 4/19 in this case. And that gives me negative 12/19 is equal to x. Therefore, we can conclude and say the solution set is 4/3 and negative 12/19. And it's perfectly fine to have fraction answers in these cases because we're fully capable of solving these equations. And if you have already given part B a try, we can go ahead and work on part B together. And in part B, same thing as before, I'm going to write out the two scenarios. 4 minus x equals 3 equals 2/3 x minus 2, or 4 minus x/3 equals negative of 2/3 x minus 2. And for this scenario, We're going to look at one case at a time. And another thing you can notice is we have 3 in the denominator on both sides. So the first thing we can do is to simplify the equation by multiplying 3 on both sides. On the left side, I just have one big expression, one big term by itself, and on the right side I have multiple terms, so make sure not to lose a parentheses along the way. And therefore I get 4 minus x is equal to 2x minus 6 as I distribute 3. And if you want, you can do the same thing directly with the second scenario as well, if I want to multiply 3 on both sides. And that would give me 4 minus x is equal to, here think about you're really distributing negative 3 to the entire thing. If it helps you think through this a little bit more easily, you can put the 3 over here because we have the commutative property for multiplication. And as we do this, we're going to get a negative 2x plus 6. And you can see now if we compare the two equations, the right side of the equation are exact opposites of each other because each sign of the terms are switched. The positive 2x became negative 2x, negative 6 became positive 6. And that's a quick way for you to check that you did the flipping sign or the distributing the negative sign correctly through the process. Now going back to the first scenario, if I want to solve it, what we can do is we can add 6 on both sides, and that would give me 4 plus 6 on the left, which is 10, minus x is equal to 2x. And to get the variables together, we can go ahead and add x on both sides. And that gives me 10 is equal to 3x. Therefore, if I divide by 3 on both sides, I will get 10/3 as the solution. Similarly, for the second scenario, we could go ahead and subtract 6 on both sides. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4 on both sides, because as I said, I don't like to work with negative coefficients, but feel free to do whichever way makes the most sense for you to combine constants or end variable terms. So here I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. And if I subtract 4 here, subtract 4 here, I will get just negative x by itself on the left, and on the right I will have negative 2x plus 2. And to combine the variables, I'm going to add 2x on both sides. So I would have negative x plus 2x, which would be x is equal to 2 as a result, so that I don't have to deal with negative coefficients. There's nothing wrong with them, but I just personally don't prefer to work with them. And we can say the solution set is 10/3, 2, like that. And that's how we can work with these two particular examples with double absolute value expressions.